Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be with you here this morning on this Sunday before Thanksgiving. Wow. Wow. So we're going to start with some gratitude this morning. And ask you to join us in this song. If you're in the room, you can stand if you like. Give our thanks this morning. Here we go.
I am so thankful for every blessed moment, and I live in gratitude. My heart is open, my spirit is rejoicing, and I live in gratitude. I give my thanks to God. 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 I am so thankful for every blessed moment, and I sing in gratitude.
Sing in gratitude.
My heart is open, my spirit is rejoicing, and I sing in gratitude. I give my thanks to God. 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 And I am so thankful for every blessed moment, and I give in gratitude.
Give in gratitude.
My heart is open, my spirit is rejoicing, and I give in gratitude. I give my thanks to God. 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 I give my thanks to God.
Good morning and welcome. Lovely to be here with everyone, and we welcome up Pat Wood as our platform person. I'll go print the copy.
Thank you. Well, hey, good morning, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome to our Sunday of Thanksgiving week. Yay! It's lovely to have you, those of you here. It's lovely to have others of you elsewhere. But again, thank you so much for being here with us today. So I'd like to start by inviting everyone to be comfortable, enjoy the wonderful energy, the peace, the beauty of today. And let me share with you a passage with a theme of Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a time of gratitude to our Mother, Father, God, whose guidance and care go before us, and whose love is with us forever. Thanksgiving is a time to reflect on the changes, to remember that we too grow and change from one season of life to another. Thanksgiving is a time of changing seasons, when leaves turn golden in autumn's wake and apples are crisp in the first chill breezes of fall. Let us remember the true meaning of Thanksgiving. As we see the beauty of autumn, let us acknowledge the many blessings which are ours. Let us think of our family and friends, and let us give thanks in our hearts. Well, and again, good morning. Welcome to all. Again, it's delightful to have everybody here. And I see a few more people are joining us. Yay. So come on in. So let me turn to our favorite part of the service, which are our announcements. All right. So number one, regarding our Sunday services, at present, and as you know, for the past few weeks, we have no longer been requiring advanced registration. So please come one, come all. Our most important concern is keeping everyone safe. So of course, we require everyone to give us their contact information, just in case. But most importantly, please come when you feel safe to come, and you will be most welcomed. So again, thank you for coming. Reverend Bridget. Yay, we have a new senior minister, yes. Talk about giving thanks, right? So yet another wonderful minister has graced us with their presence. So here is Reverend Bridget's contact information. Certainly it's on the website, newsletters, and so on and so forth. Do feel free to reach out and introduce yourself to her. Today's speaker and performer, welcome back. We have Charley Thweatt, who will be speaking to us and singing to us about living in connection. Are you on God's Wi-Fi? And I know it's going to be a very fun message. Next, yes, it's that time. We have our Unity Advent Christmas booklet that are available now in the sanctuary and in the office. And it's a really lovely booklet, so I do encourage everyone to take advantage of that. Weekly Zoom meetings. And my lovely Roger. Thank you, Roger. Weekly Zoom meetings. We have our Monday book study at 7 p.m., where we are doing Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. And everyone is welcome to participate, no matter if you've done so before or whatever. Just come on, jump on in. It's a lot of fun. We have Thursday prayer hour at 9 a.m., where we offer prayer and fellowship. And this Thanksgiving, we have our friend Fred is organizing a potluck dinner. It is limited. It will be here in the downstairs floor. It is limited to 25 attendees, but you are very, very much warmly encouraged to attend if you have no other plans at that day. Please contact Fred to make sure we can coordinate food and beverages and set up and clean up and whatever. And I'm sure it's going to be a really lovely time, so really do take advantage of it. Today, Sunday Fellowship, right after our service today at 11:30. The link is in the newsletter for security purposes, of course, at 11:30. So please take advantage of that. And if you have concerns, if you have ideas, if you have anything you want to share with your board, because we are here to serve you, please contact any of us on the board. And we very, very much welcome your input, because we are all unity, and it's really important that we know what your ideas are. There is prayer support for all of us through our Unity prayer chaplains. Again, contact information is here. It's always in our newsletter, and do take advantage of that. It really is such a great help. Today's daily word is grace. Grace is my constant blessing. I discover grace all around me when I open my eyes, my mind, and my heart to its presence. Grace reminds me that God's love is active everywhere and at every moment. Grace can be as quiet as a whisper. It's in the love I hear in the voice of someone dear, and in the warmth and tenderness of a comforting grace touch. Grace is the heartfelt welcome I receive when invited into a friend's home. It's the bliss I feel when I know I truly belong. God is the heart of all grace, as goodness and kindness in action. always mine to receive and give in kind. My growing awareness inspires me to share this activity of God generously by calling it into expression. And the Bible passage for today's reading is from Acts 20:32. And now I commend you to God and to the message of his grace, a message that is able to build you up and to give you the inheritance among all who are sanctified. And now, let's welcome back our music team.
Thank you, Pat. By the way, mentioning the Monday evening book club, we have several copies of the book in question right below me here. Discover the Power Within You, Eric Butterworth. So if you are looking for a copy, here's where you can get them. So, we celebrate the abundance of the harvest time this week with Thanksgiving, and always celebrate the abundance of our lives. So we're going to do that with the song, World of Abundance. I invite you again, if you're comfortable, standing up in the room or at your computer, wherever you are, you can do that. I am so grateful for this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. And I am so grateful, for I know my path is blessed by a love so full and graceful, I can trust in every step. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Sing that again. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. With a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Thank you. And by the miracle of modern technology, we welcome Reverend Bridget. Pre-recorded.
This is the day that love has made. This is the day that love has made. Let us rejoice and be glad in it. On Friday, the voice of God sounded an awful lot like a prompting from Dennis that we have the technology. As I mentioned last week, today I have the joyful pleasure of being with my dear Anamkara friend, Reverend Sue Kohler-Arsenault, as she is officially installed as the pastor of the Annisquam Village Church in Gloucester. As I celebrate with my previous beloved community, know that I carry you in my heart and prayers today and always. And so whether you are in the sanctuary, watching the live stream recording, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, or on your journey with Unity at Albany, know that you are warmly welcomed and accepted here. And may you and your loved ones be filled with the blessings of a grateful heart and deep trust in the abundance of our ever-present, ever-loving God. Amen. And now I give you back to the loving, capable hands of Pat to say together our vision and mission statements and our statement of oneness. And I look forward to being with you in person next week. Blessings. Peace.
So, I invite everyone to please join me in our vision, mission, and statement of oneness statements. Let's start with our vision statement. A world transformed through the spiritual awakening of all. Our mission statement. We awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service in our community and in the world. And finally, our statement of oneness. The power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in the universe, the all-loving goodness of God. Thank you.
Thanks. And now we're very happy to welcome back in our dear friend from Dunedin, Florida, Charley Thweatt. Hello, Charley.
Good morning. Well, it's great to be a part of this service. So hello, everybody. And what a fun treat to get to meet Reverend Bridget in the pre-recorded announcement. So I want to start my little section here. We're going to use a song to lead into a time of meditation. And the song is called We Go Together. So what I'm saying, what's really coming to me in the song is we go together and that we all fit together as part of one being, but also we're all kind of going together in one direction, moving forward, growing as one. So I hope you'll join me in this and just sing with me on the chorus. We go together as one. So let's close our eyes wherever we are, unless you're driving. Let's take a deep breath in and kind of settle in for a time of the inner. We go together. We go together. We go together as one. Will you sing that with me? We go together. We go together. We go together as one. In the beginning, there was God, and God is all there was. Then we divided up, yet we're still one because, sing it with me, we go together, we go together, we go together, we go together as one. As I reach into all being, you are all a part of me. We can't fly without each other. When we get this, we'll be free. We go together, we go together, we go together as one. We go together, we go together, we go together as one. We go together. So if your eyes aren't closed already, I invite you to close your eyes. Let's take a deep breath in together. In. And feel that place in you that reaches out and melts into the being of all the other people in this world. We go together. Sometimes we may feel separate. But deep inside, there's this place where we are all joined. Sometimes we feel that, don't we? There's one body of Christ. There's one Spirit of which we are all a part. There's one creation. And you and I are part of that. We go together as one. We go together. And as we let that truth really soak into our being, it changes how we are with each other. It's harder to have an enemy when you know we go together as one. We call this church Unity for a reason. In the beginning, there was God. And God is all there was. And then we divided up into all these little parts, all these puzzle pieces. But really, we're still part of that same oneness. So we take a deep breath and let this in. Breathe that deeply into you, that reminder that person next to you is part of you. You're part of them. We are all part of the one whole. We go together. And so it is, and so we are. When you sing your song, there's a power in the wind that will sail you home to the peace you know within. When you sing your song, all of nature will join in to bless you in your mission here on earth, to help you in your service here on earth. When you sing your song, you can feel the rising tide, lifting all things up, and there's nowhere left to hide. When you sing your song, you become alive inside, to bless you in your mission here on earth, to help you in your service here on earth. So you ask the rising tide and the power in the wind, and you know that there's no way you could ever fail. And you call upon your heart and God who lives within, and know that there's no way you could ever fail. You know that there's no way you could ever fail. When you sing your song, there's a power in the wind that will sail you home to the peace you know within. When you sing your song, all of nature will join in to bless you in your mission here on earth, to help you in your service here on earth. La da 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 da, la da 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 da. Well, thank you. I'm going to assume you're smiling and feeling the truth in that, and the truth of all we've been sharing this morning. So again, I'm Charley Thweatt, coming to you from Dunedin, Florida, which is in the Clearwater area, and sending you bright sunshine to Albany and wherever you might be sitting. And my talk this morning is called Living in Connection. Are you on God's Wi-Fi? Living in Connection. Are you on God's Wi-Fi? I'm going to look at 3 different areas where we talk about being connected. And then a little bit of fun I'm going to have this morning also is I'm bringing in quotes, a little dueling quotes for each of these 3 areas. And one coming in from the Buddha and the other Mark Twain. So we'll see what they have to say about living in connection. Okay, so I want to start with just looking at the first area, which is connection with self, and I'm going to give little subtitles to each of these areas. And so connection with self, I'm calling your inner net, okay? So that's in the Wi-Fi theme. So I-N-N-E-R, your internet. Are you connected on your internet? And I want to reflect on that song I just sang. When you sing your song, there's a power in the wind that will sail you home to the truth you know within. When you sing your song, all of nature will join in. And what I'm looking at here is when we step into truly giving the gifts we were given to give. So singing your song is the metaphor for that. In my case, it happened to be singing songs, but yours might be different. And what I'm noticing is that, when you are on track doing your gift, you feel more in your power, don't you? You feel more in your joy. I have a friend, an author named Alan Cohen, and he and I toured together for 7 years in the late 80s, early 90s. Maybe you've heard of him. Wonderful author. Check out his books, Alan Cohen. One of his book titles really strikes me. Sometimes the titles say everything, don't they? So the title of this book is Joy is My Compass. Joy is my compass. So what I'm hearing here is let joy be your north arrow. If you're following what your heart, what brings your heart joy, maybe you're more on track in giving your gifts and what you're meant to give. So my story, some of you have heard this before, but I loved doing music as a kid, from age 8 on, and started learning all these instruments, loved singing, got to the time of college and decided to get a more practical degree. And I ended up getting a 5-year degree in architecture. It's a professional degree, and I ended up working in a big architectural firm for 3 years, sitting there in my cubicle, feeling like, well, this is very responsible of me, but I'm not really loving this. And it was safe. I had my benefits package, my steady paycheck, my insurance, and all the benefits of a steady job, and yet I felt like I was dying a slow death there in my cubicle. It wasn't really what my heart was calling me to do. And I used to lovingly call that my slow death with benefits, right? So anyway, at one point I saw an opening. Actually, it's through connecting with a Unity church that this, music I'd been writing about my spiritual path, I found an audience who really wanted to hear it. And that kind of got me kicked in a different direction to where I finally felt the momentum, where I left my safe job and took a very unsafe path into my heart's joy. And with every step, somehow the universe showed up and supported me. I was singing my song, I was doing my gift, and the universe came in and kept giving me yeses. It was, just a little bit at a time. It wasn't some big, here it all is. That's how life is, isn't it? Just another step, just to encourage you, keep going. And so that was me stepping into, being connected with my internet, because my inner being was not, its joy wasn't found in being in that cubicle. Now, for many people, that's their perfect place. It wasn't mine. So when I stepped out and did that, it changed everything. I was connecting to my internet, and sometimes, it takes courage to be honest about what's right for you. It takes integrity. Now, as a kid, when I heard the word integrity, it was kind of like mom and dad saying, now remember, be honest and don't steal and all this, tell the truth. But in this case, on a soul level, it's really about telling the truth about who you are and who you came to be. That's a deeper integrity. Can I say that I'm in integrity with my soul's mission? I came to earth to do something. And what is that? And for some of us, we're still finding it. But remember the joy is my compass aspect. Let that be your north arrow. Where are you being pulled if there's still some question in your mind? And again, it takes courage to step out and say, I'm going to leave this safe job and go do music for a living. I remember my aunt came to see me at one of my first concerts, and she had a very conservative feeling about what I was up to, and she said, you have a degree in architecture, and now you're going around the country singing for love offerings? Your grandfather would roll over in his grave. So, it didn't bother me that she said that, because I knew it was true for me. I knew that I was on the right path. So you may have your opinion, and thank you for sharing, okay? So I want to share a quote from Mark Twain at this point. And he said, with courage, you dare to take risks. So there's that courage factor. With courage, you dare to take risks, have the strength to be compassionate, and the wisdom to be humble. Courage is the foundation of integrity. Think about that. We just talked about the courage to be in your integrity. And courage, he says, courage is the foundation of integrity. So sometimes it's about being brave enough to take those leaps, isn't it? Brave enough. So I want to talk more about this inner net, and something that's come back. I come back into my life lately is meditation. I've been deeply in it, and then kind of did not, and then come back and not. And lately I've been in a meditation mode. And that's another way of how we connect on that inner net, connect to ourselves, who we are. And for some people, it's hard to sit and meditate because your mind goes crazy the whole time. Well, that's kind of part of it, isn't it? A lot of people will say that it's about, by meditating, you find out who you are apart from your thoughts. And I've heard some people say, think of yourself like you're sitting on the edge of a river or a stream. And so that's you, kind of sitting peacefully. And then in the stream, there are all these leaves floating on the surface, these leaves going by. And those are your thoughts. So, but you are not your thoughts. That's just your thoughts going by. You're the one sitting on the river watching them go by. And that's, for me, part of the gift of meditation, to be able to separate who you are from your thoughts, not get caught up in I am my thoughts. You're not. You're that still point on the shore. So use meditation. And I love how they call it a practice, because for me, it is a practice. It's practicing how to be in daily life. It's practicing how to be in daily life, to see yourself separate from the chaos going by. And remember who you are as that still point. So that's another great reason to stay in connection with our inner selves, to navigate that chaos. A great quote from A Course in Miracles kind of talks about the same thing. At the end of the introduction, it says, nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. Nothing real can be threatened. Nothing unreal exists. Herein lies the peace of God. So in that scenario, the real is you sitting on the shore. Who you are as spirit is real and eternal. And these thoughts going by, they're not really real. They're just, chaos, chatter. Those really don't even exist. Beingness exists. Thoughts or chatter going by. And when you are able to distinguish, herein lies the peace of God. Okay, let's see what the Buddha had to say about meditation. So he was asked, what have you gained from meditation? And you know what his answer was? Nothing. Isn't that great? What have you gained from meditation? Nothing. Well, that could even be a double meaning there. To gain nothing is maybe a beautiful thing, nothingness. But he also said, nothing. However, let me tell you what I have lost. Anger, anxiety, depression, insecurity, and fear of old age and death. So he lost those things by just sitting and realizing that those are just leaves passing by. Okay, so that interconnection. So let's move on to the second area, and that's connection with others. And I'm going to call that our intranet, that intra-connection we have. So we have the inner net, now the intranet. And I want to reflect back on the song I played just before the meditation. We go together. We go together. And that's really looking at again, how we are fit together as pieces in a puzzle. There was the creation. And in my mind, it's like, there was the oneness. And then the oneness wanted somebody to interact with and to be able to know its own love. And so we divided up into all these different parts. And here we are, seeing God in each other's eyes, seeing that creation in each other. So that's what that song is about. We go together. Now, I want to tell a story about when I was in Kona at a health food store. And I was preface this by saying that one of the deepest things that's happened in my spiritual journey is to sit in silence and look in another person's eyes. And this is not a staring contest, but it's where we both agree, let's just sit in beingness. And I've had amazing openings and deep senses of oneness with people from doing this. So here I am, I'm years later at a health food store in Kona, and I'm walking up to the cash register, and there's kind of this young hippie guy, maybe 24 years old, with a beard and long hair. I see his name is Ben on his name tag. And as I'm approaching the cash register and the checkout area, I see a sign that says wisdom discount for those over 55 years old. I thought, oh, fun, I get a wisdom discount. So I walked up and said, hey, Ben, I'd like to get my wisdom discount on these groceries. He says, well, great. But first, would you share a bit of wisdom? I thought, well, that's sweet. That's different and fun. So I thought, well, I said, well, one of the most profound things I've experienced in my life is that deep connection, just looking another person in the eyes and that place of stillness and connection. And you know what he did? He just paused and looked me in the eyes and we took each other in for 20, 30 seconds. Just a sense of this beingness and connection. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. And I got my wisdom discount. So that was fun too. So really it's about being available for connection. Be available for connection wherever it shows up. I'm reminded of a song I wrote a while back, and some of the lyrics say, take your time when you're being with people. What's another minute to you? We keep finding ourselves in each other. Make this time precious in all that you do. And for me, what those lyrics bring to mind is, imagine you're out running errands. And you have 10 errands you have to get done before noon. And you're on errand number 4, you're at the drugstore picking up something, and you run into someone you haven't seen in a year, and they want to talk. They want to stop and talk and chat, and you're thinking, well, I have 6 more errands. That's what you're thinking. I got to go. I got to get done by noon. No. Stop. Be with this person. Did you come to earth to run errands? When you were up, as a spiritual being before coming into this life, did you say, oh, I can't wait to get to earth and run errands? No, we're here to connect with each other. We're here to grow from connecting with each other. That's why we're here. So take your time when you run into people, when you're being with people. What's another minute to you? Sometimes connection happens just from being willing to listen. One of the best communication tools I've ever learned is not talking and just listening when someone's speaking. Because, first of all, I'm not busy preparing my next clever thing I'm going to say. If I just say, I'm just going to listen. And even if there's a moment of silence, I don't have to fill it in. You don't have to fill it in. Maybe someone's working on something very important, and that silent pause is when the next thing is bubbling up that's going to change their life when they realize that if you're busy interrupting, you're going to stop that flow. I had a workshop I was leading in San Diego a number of years ago, and I set it up where, partner number 1, you just speak, the other listens for 3 minutes, and then you switch, and then the other person speaks, then the other just listens. You don't say anything. You can nod or smile. And there was a sharing time at the end of that, and one of the couples had been married 20 plus years. And afterwards, the husband raised his hand. He said, I have a miracle I want to share. For the first time in over 20 years, I got to speak uninterrupted to my wife. Well, it's kind of funny, but there's a truth in that we need to be heard. And it's okay not to fill in the empty spaces. It's okay to just take in what's being said and listen. It's a beautiful way to have that intranet connection. So Mark Twain had a quote that totally relates to this. Let me find that here. He said, wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would rather have talked. Wisdom is the reward you get for a lifetime of listening when you would rather have talked. Isn't that beautiful? And the Buddha had something to say also about connection with others. And this is really about friendships and family. He said, a trusted friend is the best relative. A trusted friend is the best relative. And you can just feel that heart-to-heart intranet connection in that quote. Okay, so lastly, I want to go to connection, the third area of connection. So we've done connection with self, the inner net, connection with others, the intranet, and then lastly, connection with God. We're going to call this the internet, starting with the letter E, E-N-T-E-R. We're entering into that connection with God. And a big way we do this is to open to guidance, to step into faith, that faith connection with God. And probably the biggest question we all ask in our kind of dire moments is, God, what would you have me do? There's some situation that's confounding us. God, what am I supposed to do in this situation? And that's when we really do, seek that guidance and need that information. And sometimes you hear an answer, right? Maybe you hear an answer, but then the question is, are you willing to trust what you hear? Or maybe sometimes you feel like you're not getting full bars, like, I'm not hearing anything, or I think I heard. So for me, if I ask and I hear an answer, that leap has to be willing to go with the answer I heard. Because if you asked for an answer and you got one, then let's take the step with what we've been given. And you might think, well, but what if I stumble and fall? What if it's the wrong way? Well, you're already stumbling and falling. Wouldn't it be better at least to do it while holding God's hand and reaching out in trust and faith? So, it's really about listening and being willing to hear and answer. I want to tell a story that happened to me a number of years ago, and to me this is one of the most interesting examples I've ever experienced. I was living in Houston with my girlfriend. Her name was Rosie, and we decided we're moving from Houston to San Diego because there were more opportunities to share what we were doing spiritually, the music and workshops. And so we drove out and stayed with some friends we had made in San Diego. We were there for 3 nights. So we arrived, and then the next morning we drove around looking for a place to rent. And we drove and looked, and nothing was flowing, nothing was opening up. Went back, spent the night with the friends, drove out the next day, second day, still nothing. Couldn't find a rental, it wasn't flowing, and came back, and the next day we were meant to drive back to Houston. And that morning, before we were headed back to Texas, in that kind of half awake, half asleep state, I heard a voice as clear as a bell. And it was like 6 a.m. The voice said, "Maureen has a listing for you." And I woke up and went, Rosie, wake up. I just heard a voice. It said, "Maureen has a listing for us." And Maureen was a new friend we had made in San Diego, and we knew she was a real estate agent. So we waited until an appropriate hour, called up Maureen, said, "Maureen, we heard this voice that you have a listing for us. We've been trying to find a rental." And she says, "Well, I am a real estate agent, but I don't have rentals. I sell condos to millionaires and movie stars. So I'm sorry, I have no idea what this is about." And we kind of shook our heads and thought, well, okay. And a few hours later, we get in the car and start heading back to Houston. So we've been there a couple of weeks, and we're still shaking our heads. And finally I said, "Rosie, there's got to be something to this. You don't just hear a voice and have it be for nothing." And so I said, we got to call Maureen. So I got Maureen back on the phone. Said, "Maureen, we just need to check again because, we heard that voice, and do you have any idea what it might have been about?" And she says, "You're not going to believe this. It's amazing that you happen to call at exactly this time because I just decided I'm moving out of my rental condo. I haven't even told the landlord yet. It sounds like it's exactly what you need, and I'll connect you guys up with the landlord. I'm sure you'll be able to get it." And we did. And guess what? Maureen did have a listing for us. It just took a little patience and a little time. You don't always know at the first moment. Sometimes it's just that waiting. And maybe it's the courage to wait and let things develop. So it was an amazing experience of hearing a voice and having it play out and listening for that guidance. Just knowing there's something there. That is being on God's Wi-Fi. But it's always a dance. It's not, nothing falls into place perfectly right away. Well, maybe it does, but it's really about patience and just that openness, being willing to be open to enter into that connection with God, that internet. So let's see what the Buddha has to say about this. He said, in the end, only 3 things matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. And we had to be graceful for a couple of weeks and just say, well, okay, but also to stay with it, to be open to, see, my intuition said call her. My guidance said call her. 2 weeks later. So that played out. I'll say that one again. In the end, there are only three things that matter: how much you loved, how gently you lived, and how gracefully you let go of things not meant for you. And then finally, Mark Twain, he had to say this about in the end, and which in this case, the end of his life. And he said, "I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and I had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it." Isn't that funny? Again, I do not fear death. I had been dead for billions and billions of years before I was born, and I had not suffered the slightest inconvenience from it. So I'll just wrap this up. So we did the internet, that connection with self by staying in integrity with your soul's joy, that north arrow of what, joy is my compass, and through knowing your center with meditation. The intranet, being connected with others through the eyes and the power of just listening, really receiving what another person is saying. And then the internet, entering in with God, being available for guidance and for hearing that inner voice. And meanwhile, we dance lightly with life's challenges, remembering we are always connected to God. We are always on God's Wi-Fi. So I'm going to close with a song, and to me, when we step into that internet, that connection with self, that integrity, that following that north arrow, following our joy, that's when we truly are in our power. That's when we feel the strength of who we are and like we're really on the right track. So I want to close this little section with one of my favorite songs. This is called "Take Your Power Back." I know you remember there are times in your life when you've walked in a gentle state of grace, and all your problems and all your beliefs were erased by a sweet smile on your face. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. You can't keep giving your own power away to anybody or thing that comes along. It's up to you now to do or say what it takes to keep your center strong. Sing with me if you like. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. There's no use trying to get by it. You can't bypass this place in the road. Your mind will tell you you can live like this, but your heart can't, and it's about to explode. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back like you had it before. Take your power back that you've been given, get it back, and you'll have even more. Have even more. Have even more. Thank you so much. It's great being here with you, and I'll come back at the end with one more song. So let's hand it back to, is it Kay or Roger? I'm not sure.
It'll be me, and thank you so much, Charlie. That's great. It's really great to have you with us, even in this form. We really feel your spirit and your big open heart, and so grateful for that. And One thing that we don't have, if Charley was here in person, is his CDs, of which he has 18 wonderful CDs. And if you simply go to musicangel.com, you can find those. And I was just looking. You can get any 3 CDs for $25, shipping included. Is that a deal or what?
Such a deal.
Okay,
Hey,
what's the other deal? Tell us the other deal.
Well,
Tell us the other deal.
I have a new one. I'm doing thumb drives with all 18 of my CDs, so it'd be $35, including shipping. So it's not posted that way on the website, but there's my email is there, so contact me that way. All 18 for $35, including shipping on a thumb drive. And the artwork's included, the lyrics are included. It's quite a little shopper special there.
It was a very big shopper special. Yeah, thank you so much. That's
email me. All the info's on musicangel.com. Thank you, Roger. I'll be back in a few.
Yeah, we'll see you in a little bit at the end of the service.
Okay, great.
So, with gratitude for this time together with Charley and just for this ministry, we are grateful for all of the offerings that allow us to continue to be here. And we extend that gratitude and remind you that if you have an offering you'd like to give this morning, there's a basket right here that will take care of that for you. And also the red box in the lobby, but use the basket. And we just want to say thank you by saying this offering blessing together. It is divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother God, and so it is. Amen. Gratitude, too, for the children in our lives and wanting to really extend our love to them and give them the strength and love to grow up into the loving beings that they already are. We'll say this blessing for them together. God loves you and accepts you just the way you are, and I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. We let them say it back to us. Feel that connection. It's very real, very true. And finally, we'll do our prayer for protection. Together we say, the light of God surrounds us. I am light. The love of God enfolds us. I am love. The power of God protects us. I am power. The presence of God watches over us. I am presence. Wherever we are, God is in all. Let's say we are. We are divine. Indeed we are. And that's the end of our service, except we're going to bring Charley back in to close it out with one more song. So come on back, Charley.
Well, great. Thank you. And I'm going to close with a song called I Thank You. So again in the theme of Thanksgiving. And if you'll notice, so I'm going to sing we'll all sing the chorus together. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you let me be. And as I was sitting here listening to Roger, it dawned on me that in these 3 verses, we have the internet, intranet, and enter in net. So listen for that in these verses. So sing with me on the chorus. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you let me be. Sing that with me. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes, I thank you for the love you let me be. As I go my way through challenges, knowing gentleness of mind, it's your love that always balances, and I feel you close behind. Join me. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you let me be. Though we seem to be so many, we are really only one. In this knowledge comes our healing. It's a song that must be sung. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you let me be. So I listen to your guidance when and where you'd have me be. Then I place myself into your hands, and I do it gratefully. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you let me be. Once more. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you give to me. And I thank you, yes I thank you, for the love you let me be. And I thank you. Thank you all. Blessings.
So great to have you with us. Peace, blessings to you. We'll be in touch again, I'm sure, down the road.
Okay.
All righty.
See you then.
Bye-bye. Thank you, everybody. What a great morning. Good to be here with you. Have a good one. Thanks. Happy Thanksgiving.